Welcome to the Neighborhood Bulldog Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Nabors, lifelong Bulldog fan, bringing you behind the scenes thoughts from all sports and all things Mississippi State athletics. Grab a seat, grab a drink, and let's dive into this. Welcome to the neighborhood. So, the first weekend of baseball season, opening day, Friday, like Christmas Day for me every year. I love Bulldog baseball. This one was a little more special, though, because it's the start of the Brian O'Connor era. Talked about on last week's episode. Brian O'Connor, 700 winning percentage in college baseball, one of the top coaches that you could possibly get next to Tony Vitello, who left to go to the San Francisco Giants from Tennessee. So very excited to get the season started and see what we look like, what we could do. And you can see I got the smoke coming off the fire pit, just like the dude. So I love that. So Brian O'Connor gets started on Friday versus the Hofstra Pride, and Friday was a little shaky. Got to be honest, the offense did not do much. Left a lot to be desired at the plate, to be honest with you. But the Bulldogs end up winning that game 6-5. They had a lead late, and Hofstra tried to take the game, and they almost did. Player of the game for Friday for me had to be Reed Stallman. I mean, we didn't do much at the plate, but Reed Stallman in the DH position, going 2 for 3 with a run scored and 3 RBIs plus a walk. He was by far the player of the game on offense, in my opinion. Ryan McPherson started on the mound for us. And, he, Cattell had some jitters there, first game jitters, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. So, not the best, but not bad either. Duke Stone actually came in relief and gave us 2 innings pitched. He actually got the win on the night there, going 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. Had 2 walks, but came back with 4 Ks as well. And then we had Ben Davis come in and shut things down for his first save of the season at 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 5 Ks. Candidate for stopper of the year. That's exactly what you expect from Ben Davis and his role on this team. Saturday, we went into a doubleheader with Hofstra and ended up winning the first game pretty comfortably, 6-1. And we had Tomas Valinkas start on the mound there. Big time transfer from Virginia. Really excited to see what he could do. And boy, he showed it. 5.1 innings, 4 hits, 6 Ks, and just 1 walk. So that was a really good first performance in the maroon and white for him. And then we had Brendan Sweeney come in for the save, 3.2 innings pitched. And again, 2 hits, 1 run, 5 Ks. If our bullpen and our stoppers are getting 5, 6 Ks over 2 or 3 innings and only, keeping it below 3 hits or so, that's going to play every single week, no matter who you're playing against. Game 2's player of the game, you saw Ace Reese wake up a little bit. Really needed him to get going. He went 2 for 4, had 2 runs, 1 RBI, and only struck out once. And then Bryce Chance woke up as well, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and a run scored. So some of your veteran leaders there that were kind of quiet in game 1 came around and really showed why they are leaders in game 2 there. Going into game 3, 45 minutes after game 2 ended, another tight one. We ended up winning 7-5 against, again, Hofstra, and we ended up getting the sweep on the weekend. You can't win them all if you don't win the first 3, so that was huge there. And this was much more of a bullpen game on the mound. Charlie Foster, I think he gave up a 2 or 3 run home run to start the game. Or early in the game there. Went 3 innings, 5 Ks, 3 earned runs on the home run there, 3 hits. We had Chris Billingsley come in, who's been highly touted through the fall as well. And I don't know if it was the atmosphere or what, but just 1.1 innings pitched, had 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 3 walks. And the walks are really what got him there. Dane Burns came in just a third of an inning, 1 walk, 1 K. And then Jack Gleason came in and he really looked good with 2 Ks there. He actually got the win. Had William Kirk come in for 2 innings and 1 hit, 1 K, nothing really there special, just looked really good, very efficient. And then the other stopper of the year candidate, Maddox Webb, finished it off for his first save of the season, going 1 inning with 1 hit and 3 Ks. So again, between Ben Davis and Maddox Webb here and Sweeney, you really look good on the back end of the bullpen there to start the season here. So you talk about waking up. Ace Reese really got going in game 3 here. 2 for 5, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, 2 strikeouts. Also had the long, long home run there in that game, too. Aiden Teal got 2 for 4. Good to see him get going. And Ryder Woodson went 1 for 3. Chone James at catcher went 1 for 3. So the offense definitely looked like they had some jitters in the first 2 games, especially pretty much a game and a half. But through game 3, it really looked like they settled in, really got going well, and ended up being able to take the sweep there. Hofstra had a really good season 2 or 3 years ago and kind of faltered last year. But like we said, they had some hitters on the team. They were going to score runs, and they did. And I think that combined with some newcomers that have never played at Dudy Noble before in front of a packed crowd, I think played a huge factor for some of these guys, either freshmen or transfers in, especially from Virginia. So, Mississippi State doing what they do best as a fan base, started off the year, broke the opening day record with over 12,000 fans there. And I believe I saw from David Murray that Mississippi State had the largest opening day attendance in the country. You saw a bunch of tweets from LSU, Tennessee, celebrating their crowds, but it didn't hold a candle to Mississippi State's crowd. And so Bulldog baseball is back. The fans are back doing what they love, being at the Dude, hanging out. So really good weekend overall. Glad to see Bulldog baseball kind of be competitive and competent again. If you watched the games, there were some situational things. Bryce Chance had a safety squeeze that, in the previous coaching staff, I don't know if that's called, but he lays it down to perfection. It works like a charm. The other thing I really like to see this weekend is I told you Brian O'Connor is intense. He is as intense as they come when he gets between the lines and in that dugout. And what I really enjoyed seeing is every time the camera panned to the dugout, there's our head coach standing on the top step coaching the game. You're not wondering where he is. You're not seeing him sit in the back corner in the dark in the back of the dugout. He's right there, fully engaged every single pitch of the baseball game. And when you're making the money that he's making and you're leading a program of the caliber of Mississippi State baseball, that's what I expect from our head coach. And so I was really glad to see his involvement, his engagement there with the players. A lot of excitement for him, I'm sure, getting his first win. Zach Selman presented him with a baseball bat, and then he talked about the atmosphere all weekend, how that surely affected some of the new guys, like I said. And so really excited as we get going in the season. The crowds are going to get bigger. Friday night, Saturday night SEC games. The first few may have an effect on our guys. So we'll see what happens there. But really good weekend overall. Looking at the next week as we get into this here, we've got Troy on Tuesday. Big game in Starkville now. Well, it was a big game. Troy comes into the season with a lot of hype. We kind of talked about that as we did our schedule breakdown last week. Skylar Meade over there had them really rolling last year, looked really good all year long. They were ranked several times on the edge of the 25 too. But Boy, they had a bad weekend. Just a bad, bad weekend from Troy, losing 2 of 3 at Mercer. Friday they lost 4-3. Okay, that's baseball, first game of the year. Saturday, they lose 17-5. 17-5 to Mercer. That is not what you want to see if you're a Troy Trojan. And then they come back in game 3 and they blow Mercer out 19-3. So I don't know what Skylar Meade did or what happened between games 2 and 3 there, but which Troy are we going to get facing the Bulldogs on Tuesday? That's the question. Troy from games 1 and 2, or Troy that seemingly figured it out and got to game 3. Now, it could be Mercer had their third starter pitching, maybe get into the bullpen a little bit, but make no mistake, Troy is still a good baseball team, and they can take one if you're not paying attention and if you're not ready, and that can happen. Just be ready. I don't think it will. I trust O'Connor. I trust the Bulldogs now that they kind of got the first weekend out of the way. I think we'll see some guys settle in and get really comfortable moving forward. But in the Troy lineup coming in on Tuesday, Drew Nelson is who we're going to really want to pay attention to. Drew Nelson and Aaron Plasecki. On the weekend, Drew Nelson goes 6 for 11, has 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, slugged .727, only struck out twice. So he's batting .545 on the season. I know it's after one weekend, but he's by far their best hitter. Aaron Plasecki follows that up with a .500 average, going 4 for 8, 3 runs scored, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. So those guys are easily the top 2 hitters on their team. I do not know who they will be looking at on the mound for the midweek, but you had Tommy Egan, who just pitched, Benjamin Stubbs, who just pitched, and then you had some bullpen guys. So they have a few that could come in and really, really shove it, and that's going to be key here. I thought the Hofstra pitching staff was way better than I anticipated for this weekend. I did not think we would have that much trouble with them, but evidently we did. And I'll tell you, their Friday starter was absolutely legit. He looked really good, could really break the slider off on you. And the Bulldog hitters struggled as they're trying to get comfortable, as they're playing in a new atmosphere. So that's going to be Tuesday. And then we follow that up on Wednesday with Alcorn State. No disrespect to Alcorn State, but that is just an abysmal baseball program. They lost this weekend 11-1 to Grambling, and then they lose 15-10 to Prairie View. If you lose a game to Alcorn State, your RPI is essentially dead for the year. And so just go ahead and get ready. We got to keep that from happening 100%. So we go into next weekend, and we are going to face Delaware in a 3-game series. I don't know that we've ever played Delaware before. I know nothing about them in baseball, but we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday series there. 11 a.m. start on Sunday. I thought that was interesting. That's pretty early. I'm not sure if it's the amount of travel Delaware has to do. And then we follow that up with Austin P in the midweek, and then the tournament I highlighted last week is 2 weekends from now. The Emoji Bank College Baseball Series, where we face Arizona State, Virginia Tech, and UCLA, which UCLA lost today. So that's going to be interesting as well to see how they come in to that series there. So that's our recap on baseball for the weekend. Really fun, a lot of good stuff. Really enjoyed the crowd, enjoyed seeing O'Connor coach and be engaged. The players looked like they were excited, having a lot of fun. In the post game, they talked about the atmosphere, how they couldn't believe they were playing in front of that many. And I mean, if you come from Virginia or wherever, where you're used to maybe 2,500 people on a weekend, and then you walk into 12,000 for your first game, that's going to have an effect on you. So really cool to see that there. So lots to look at moving forward in baseball. Very excited. Hopefully we'll keep that going. Bulldog baseball 3-0 to start the season, and hopefully we'll continue to get some sweeps here to start the first few weekends. All right. Baseball wasn't the only thing that happened this weekend. Mississippi State athletics as a whole had an absolutely monster weekend overall. Just absolutely perfection across the board. So we already talked about baseball. We've got to go to the other diamond. Bulldog softball showing out all weekend long and all season long so far. They are now 10-0 on the season and going 5-0 through this past weekend. Had the Alex Wilcox Memorial Tournament going on at Mississippi State, and Bulldogs go 5-0 on the weekend. Friday they play two games. They go 9-1, 9-1 versus Murray State for the win there, and they follow that up with an 8-0 win over Rutgers on Friday night. You go into Saturday, you're 2-0 on the weekend, you're feeling great, and you follow up Friday's performances with a 7-2 win over Rutgers and then a 3-1 win over North Texas. So now you're 4-0 on the weekend in your tournament. And what do you do today on Sunday as we're recording? You follow that up smoking North Texas 10-2 after you beat them 3-1 on Saturday. So monster weekend for Bulldog softball and Coach Ricketts out there. They have a big week coming up this upcoming weekend with the Bulldog Invitational, where they're going to face Samford, Belmont, and Delaware State. Thought that was interesting. Delaware State softball coming down and playing at Mississippi State. And then we have the Delaware baseball team coming and playing a 3-game set at Mississippi State. So great job to the ladies over there. Coach Ricketts really has them rolling. And I hope they can keep this confidence going during SEC play, because this can easily be a tournament team. This can easily be a host team in softball. And so I hope they keep that going there. Lots to look forward to for the Diamond Girls. Onto the hardwood, Bulldog men's basketball. Huge game on Saturday. You've got two bad teams, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Yes, they are not good this year. They have not been good this year. So kind of battle of who's worse, right? Back on January 17th in Starkville, Mississippi State winning that game felt good, looked good, and just kind of blew it down toward the end, losing that game 68-67. If you remember in that game, Josh Hubbard kind of had a bad game. He went 13 points, 3 for 16 from the field, and just 2 of 8 from 3-point range. Not good at all there. Um, so what was he going to do this weekend? That's what we needed to see. And being in Oxford, didn't know what to expect. I was kind of worried that Ole Miss would kind of run away with it being at home since they beat us at our home court. But as usual, when State plays Ole Miss, anything can happen. And Josh Hubbard decided he wasn't going to let anything happen except a Bulldog win. Mississippi State blows out Ole Miss 90-78 on their own court on Saturday. Josh Hubbard going 32 points, 12 of 16 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3-point range. Not only did he absolutely demolish Ole Miss Saturday, he demolished the 3-point scoring record, all-time record for Mississippi State. He stands alone at the top there. So huge Saturday for Bulldog basketball as well. Um, we have another big week coming up. We are getting down to the end of the season here, and so every game matters. We need to stack some wins here. We've got Auburn coming in Wednesday in Starkville. Going to be a huge game. ESPN2 prime time, and then on Saturday we go to South Carolina. Both of those games are extremely winnable and crucial to us getting in the SEC tournament and maybe being able to make a run and squeak into the NCAA, possibly, maybe the NIT. So huge week there. We've got to win some games here, but you couldn't feel good about this week if you didn't take care of business on Saturday. And Josh Hubbard and the Dogs absolutely did that. Beating Ole Miss in anything is great. Beating Ole Miss in blowout fashion on their own field, no matter what field that is, feels even better. So it was great to see fans leaving early. We experienced that back in the Egg Bowl during football season. So little payback there, even though it's basketball season. So uh, Bulldog basketball, men's basketball, adding to the perfect weekend for Mississippi State sports on that. Following up men's basketball, women's basketball, Sam Purcell and the ladies getting a massive win on Thursday here at home versus Georgia. Actually won that game 85-71. So they pulled away late in that game and really showed some poise and confidence there. And similar to men's basketball, we are winding down the season on the hardwood. There's only 5 games left. And Mississippi State sitting in, I think, 17-8, has a huge opportunity this week to add to that and add to their resume to get in the tournament. Starting with Arkansas on Monday and then Florida on Thursday. And then we follow that up with Texas on Sunday, which we know former Bulldog coach Vic Schaefer is going to be ready in that game. So Mississippi State and the ladies have a big chance to go hopefully 3-0, but need to at least go 2-1 on this week and see what we got from there. So once again, great weekend for Mississippi State athletics. Diving into baseball season, we're winding down on basketball season, and we got the ladies over on the softball field getting their season going the right way as well. Already 10-0 on the season. There is a lot to be excited about as we move forward through these seasons for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. We will recap our game against Troy and look forward to the weekend. We'll have a little deeper dive into Delaware, and we'll get to know some more about Delaware and who we need to watch out for up and down that lineup and on the mound for them. I think there will be a few surprises from Delaware as they come in. Usually, when you don't play a team or you're not used to seeing them, they're going to have some guys that we're not ready for, and I hope our guys are ready. Get confidence built, get in the cage. I'd like to see us have at least one comfortable win, not necessarily a blowout, but I'd like to see some comfortable wins this upcoming weekend against Delaware. I don't need a one-run game in the ninth inning again. I would like to see some separation there. Um, and I'd also like to see a little better performance from Mr. Charlie Foster. We talked about him a minute ago, but you know, he's supposed to be one of the main guys. He's a guy I highlighted going into this weekend. I need him to have a bounce back weekend for sure. I don't know if it was nerves or what, but as he gets his season going, him and Billingsley are going to be crucial, and we need them to get right fast. And against Delaware would be a perfect time to do that. So, Bulldog baseball, Bulldog basketball, Bulldog softball, a lot happening right here as we get close to the end of February. And I will be back with you later this week to recap and preview. As always, welcome to the neighborhood. Like, subscribe so you can join the neighborhood. And we'll be back with you. Thank you.